Welcome to Share Talk, the only podcast where investors come first.
Welcome to the Share Talk CEO interview of the day, and we're speaking to Al Sisto, CEO at Tern Plc. How are you today, Al?
Very good. And you, Zach?
I'm very well, almost doing as well as your share price has been doing over recent weeks. I remember a few years back when I was a fan of your company for some reason. I can't actually remember why. Maybe because other people didn't like it. The share price hit about 30p after being around 3 or 4p. This time we've gone a bit further. Obviously, share prices are not everything, but what's your take on the current situation?
I think part of the rise in the share price revolves around our reaching out to the investment community at large and explaining our investment thesis and the idea of what we're doing in creating a synergistic portfolio that has as part of its components elements that can be shared. So, we're creating something that we believe will individually, portfolio companies will individually create value, but as a group, I think we're also creating a shared value between these companies to that investors who are looking for the long term see the growth potential in investing in Tern.
Obviously, the normal scenario is that you have a company which has various holdings in its portfolio, and in fact, the market tends to actually have the sum of parts valuation at a discount to the individuals.
Yeah, and I think what we're seeing is the holdings being looked at as a sum plus a small premium to what could be here in the not too distant future.
Right. I mean, the Device Authority is the name I remember from a few years back. That seems to be still a major part of what you've got, over half. Could you just tell us a bit about?
Yeah, I think first it's important to note that Device Authority is our flagship investment currently, but 3 years ago it was a 300,000 pound investment where we tried to apply our thesis of adding some value and creating a more solid management team and bringing things to market. So it is not only our flagship investment, but it also reflects for the investment community what we can do with the companies that we invest in. Device Authority itself is currently focused on securing the Internet of Things. It's created a platform to provide snap-in security, end-to-end capabilities to reduce the attack surface or the ability for bad actors to infiltrate and cause havoc within the applications that are depending upon devices to deliver or create data for further use.
So the hope for a layperson who's not into high tech, one of the USPs of the Device Authority is that you're making the internet and the Internet of Things less hackable.
Absolutely, a good way to look at it and a good way to describe it. I mean, when you look at the problem at hand, it is manifested in a couple of ways. But the biggest issue is if the Internet of Things is growing to about 50 billion devices between 2020 and 2025, depending upon which pundit, and we have roughly 7 million people on the planet, where there's a real need for a different way, an automated way, to provide a level of security to the data being generated by these devices. And for the layperson, what Device Authority does is basically create a capability to secure and identify devices wherever they are in the world and do it without the necessity of having people intervene.
Right. I mean, one of the other things that comes to mind is that obviously, as I'm going back to 3 years ago when I think I interviewed the management of your company at that time, technology changes very quickly. 3 years is like 30 years in the real world. Are we now at the sweet spot in terms of what you're doing? Is there a chance that we could become out of date as well?
I don't think so. I think, if you look at the journey that we've taken with Device Authority, as with our all of our portfolio companies, Device Authority, you know, reached a plateau in which we realized that additional technology was required, and we acquired Device Authority Inc. In the United States and tucked it into what was then Cryptosoft and created Device Authority Inc. So this is fresh technology that's, basically the integration just completed in November of last year, that's in the marketplace, addressing real needs with real capabilities. And as of just a couple of weeks ago, we introduced the cloud-based services delivery of Device Authority, so we can in effect extend the capability to more applications that are using the cloud to address devices in the wild.
Right. One of the other issues is that clearly from your accent you have a slightly American heritage. Is it true to say that in the UK, we have a dearth of big tech companies. Does it just is tech really all about being US facing?
No, I think tech is all about having good ideas and good technology. And what we see at Tern is a treasure trove of companies that have those characteristics here in the UK. And we believe that our investment thesis is to develop those and globalize them, with the idea of globalizing them into the U.S. marketplace. And as you detected from my accent, I'm based here in London and in Silicon Valley. So I think one of the things that we have as a unique value or USP for investors is we bring forth deals or opportunities that generally wouldn't be seen by the average investor in the UK, and then we also bring forward the opportunity to further develop those companies in the States. Again, for example, Device Authority and the acquisition of Device Authority Inc. They were a Fremont-based company, and we were able to put that together to create, the entity that we have today in the portfolio. And we see similar things like that available to us as we move forward.
Right. I mean, you're an incubator. Is there a scalability in what you do? Currently, the market cap is 100 million. Is there any real limit in terms of what you could be dealing with, what kind of size companies you could be working with?
Well, I think, if you look at the market opportunity created by the Internet of Things, and within the Internet of Things, the security of the Internet of Things, application development, augmented reality, virtual reality, we're looking at compounded annual growth rates in these markets in the teens and mid to high 20s. So if we invest wisely, and we have stated as our objective to have at least 12 companies in our portfolio by the end of 2019. If we invest wisely, create some synergies between the investments, we should be able to track the CAGRs here in these markets with the companies being successful as they achieve some maturity.
So, is the goal about trying to be the next unicorn or finding the next unicorn?
The goal is to create shareholder value by creating companies that have the wherewithal to be leaders in their marketplace. Unicorns are unicorns. I haven't seen one lately.
Al Sisto, CEO at Tern Plc. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Zach. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you for listening. Remember to visit our website for more news and other podcasts at www.share-talk.com.